Good afternoon, Malika. Hello. Yeah, you'll have to unmute yourself. Wait, we'll be making you the co-host. Yeah, you'll have to unmute yourself. We have made you the co-host. Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you guys?
We are doing absolutely fine. So we have admitted all the participants in, and as we had them in the waiting room, so we have admitted them for this session.
Sure.
So well then, it's 3 p.m. We now commence with the webinar. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. During these uncertain times, we are more likely to experience higher degree of vulnerability with respect to our emotional well-being. Brilliant things happen in calm minds. Mindfulness plays a very important role in mental health and positive thinking. Mindfulness means being awake. It means knowing what you are doing. We cannot control everything that happens, but we can change our experience towards those things. Welcome to the most awaited HRAI wellness session, Emotional Fitness. Before we begin with this session, ladies and gentlemen, three important protocols while on Zoom, as you all would be familiar of. Kindly do not record this meeting, as this would be available on our social media pages. Request all of you to please keep your Zoom audio on mute and your videos on. Please use your full name as your screen name and not your device name, as it does not allow us to identify who you are. As your video is off and your name is not mentioned, we will have to move those participants to the waiting room for security reasons. So please cooperate. It would be great to have all the participants' feedback. We will be running a poll during our session. Request all participants to kindly respond to it. It would be helpful for the speaker to understand the expectations of the participants. HRAI is a non-profit human resource association that firmly believes in delivering values through Landmark Summit, which offers unique opportunities for subject matter experts to share knowledge, which will help our members to learn about the latest advancement in technology and innovation. In the world of conference, we believe in leveraging the power of knowledge to deliver value to each participant, delegates, and organization at our events. This is the cornerstone of our drive towards excellence. I now take the privilege to introduce the speaker of our today's wellness session, Ms. Malika Rao, an award-winning life coach, keynote speaker, lifestyle mentor, mindfulness teacher, and a philanthropist. Malika brings over 16 years of learning and experience in holistic wellness. Named as Woman of Excellence by the Indian Achiever Award and recognized as a Global Goodwill Ambassador, Malika actively promotes mindfulness and meditations for mental and emotional health. A certified happiness coach from Berkeley Institute of Wellbeing, California, certified therapist from international practitioners of holistic medicines, Malika is a Vipassana and Tai Chi practitioner. A fascinating blend of ancient Eastern wisdom and modern Western science, her signature coaching programs has helped hundreds of professionals and entrepreneurs to step up their game and live their best life. Malika is the founder of NGO Project Annapurna that provides nutritious meals for the underprivileged. Currently, they are working on providing food supplies for COVID victims in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Together with her coaching, keynotes, and workshop, Malika has helped thousands of people find calm, clarity, and confidence. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invite. Without taking much time, I would now request Ms. Malika to take over the session. Over to you, Ms. Malika.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome and a very good evening, good afternoon to everybody. So to begin with, I want to understand how many of you think you're emotional. Just do a hand raise. I think that is possible in Zoom. Yeah, great. Great. So how many of you think you're practical? All right, fantastic. And how many of you think you're both? Great. So you guys got it right. There is a reason why we have been given a brain which is both logical and emotional, right? So that is the left side, right side of the brain. Having said that, given the situation right now, emotional intelligence has become even more important than it ever was, right? So we're going to now, I'm going to share a few ideas on emotional fitness. See if it makes any sense to you. And if it does, try to work it out or adapt it in your life. If it does not, throw it out of the window, move to the next thing. But let's talk about emotional fitness. For the longest time, I have been told that being emotional is a weakness, right? And yeah, we do say that even today that women are more emotional and men are not, and so on and so forth. I do hear these things. Women are more sensitive and men are not, though I don't believe them. But this is what I very often hear. While it is important to understand the personality types and accordingly work, it is
Ms. Malika, we lost
scientifically
you.
proven
Yeah.
that it is not about
Ms. Malika?
I believe emotional intelligence is when we home or temporary unemployment.
Ms. Malika, we are losing you. Ms. Malika, if we have lost you.
Peter, just take a
Yeah,
pause, call her on her cell phone and check.
sure, sure.
Yeah. We would request all the members to just give us a couple of minutes. We will check with Malika and get back. Thanks so much.
Sorry about that. There were some
Yeah,
internet
yeah.
issues.
Yeah, so would request you to repeat the past part so that our audience had lost you in between. So it would be great to hear you
Yes.
again on that. Yeah.
Yes. So I was talking about us being in a flux at the moment, and one that was not anticipated. I also was mentioning about studies in communication that says 94% of it is your body language, and which leaves very less scope for words and other forms of communication. And now, because of this COVID and work from home scenario, it has all zeroed down to that. So this communication, effective communication, has become even more challenging. So I was also mentioning that there are a lot of emotional challenges we are going through, and now we'll have to deal with that of others as well, especially in a work from home scenario. Right? And we do not know what's going on in their world. So most of it is going to be guesswork from our end. So as per the world statistics, 1 out of every 5 individuals are dealing with some form of mental illness. With the current pandemic, my guess is the numbers are much, much higher. Shame, guilt, anxiety, worry, jealousy, stress, loneliness, sadness, depression are all forms of mental illness, challenges, I would say. So it is actually a state of stress and unhappiness. And this is not the time where these are the phases, or these are the states of mind that does not allow you to be as much more productive and efficient. So how do we address it? To begin with, I would like you all to take a poll, and they're going to be 5 questions. It's going to appear on your screen, and please answer in all honesty on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the least and 5 being the best. 1 being you strongly agree, and 5 you disagree. Okay, so here is the poll. Please take a couple of minutes to answer.
So request all the participants to kindly respond to the poll.
All right. Peter, do you think we have given enough time for the poll?
Yeah, so we are at 58%. So we have a few more to go through this poll.
Mm-hmm. We'll give another 30 seconds.
Sure. Would request all the participants to kindly respond to the poll at the earliest.
This is important for you to assess where you are. So it would be advisable to go through these questions and assess yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. Fantastic. So once you have answered all these 5 questions, try to assess where exactly you are. Let's suppose I say your emotional health on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the least and 5 being the best. Where would you rate yourself at this moment? right? That question is not on the poll. This is for you to answer for yourself. Where exactly do you see yourself on a scale of 1 to 5? Whenever we are beginning an assessment or whenever we're beginning a journey to learn something, to improve something in our lives, it's important for us to know where we start, where we are standing at the moment, and then come up with a goal. Where do you want to go? So that you can measure your growth. All right. Thank you so much for answering these questions. Okay. So, like I mentioned earlier, on a scale of 1 to 5, rate yourself where you are right now on a emotional fitness levels. And now the next question is, where do you want to go? Where do you want to see yourself in the next 30 days or 3 months, 6 months, 1 year from now, or even 3 years from now? Where do you want to see yourself? That is setting a goal. And I hope all of you have rated yourselves 5. Because I tell you it's just not about what we are going through right now. And my guess is that life is never going to be what we used to. Things are going to be changing consistently. And the biggest challenge is going to be emotional intelligence or people intelligence for that matter. So your emotional health is going to decide your success largely, and it is going to decide your happiness in all areas of life, because unless until you are satisfied in this place, you will not be able to give your 100% anywhere else. And there are statistics and numbers showing that it is your emotional health that affects your physical health also. It does show. There was one research that was done which shows that cancer could be the large part or cause for a cancer could be constant stress, right? So that makes it even more important for all of us to focus on our emotional health. Okay, so now that you know where you are standing at the moment and also where do you want to go going forward, let us talk a little more about emotional fitness. Why emotional fitness? Well, I believe that the idea is not about um, fighting problems when they arrive in your life, right? And like we have seen with the COVID situation, some things come unannounced. And that is the time we need to understand how capable, how ready, and how fit we are to actually face the challenge, because it does not give you time to make up. Yeah, it does not give you time to pick yourself up. And your success largely depends on how soon and how fast you're able to respond to a situation, right? So that is why we call it emotional fitness, where you are just like your physical health, you are conscious of your emotional health as well, and you are that agile and that responsive to emotions and everything that life throws at you. Yeah. Okay, so now the first one, like I mentioned to you, starts with awareness of where you are. It all begins with where you are standing at the moment. So often people do say, I want to be happy and healthy. That's great, but the answer is still vague. You see, what exactly do you mean by that? If one of your goals is emotional wellness, what do you mean by that? Get specific. It could be that I want to be calm, composed, in control of my emotions. And for somebody else, it could be I want to be happy, or it could be I want to be in enjoy happy state of mind all the time. It could be any of those. So I would recommend you all to take a moment and write down, what do you mean by emotional wellness as per you? Any answer is right answer. There's no right or wrong. It is all dependent on you. So take a moment to think about it and write down, what do you mean by emotional wellness? And you may also share it on the chat box if you like. I want to be in state where I acknowledge my emotions at each moment and capable enough to change into more positive feelings. Fantastic, Ruchi. That's great. I need to overpower my emotions. They're consuming me. I understand how it feels. Understanding my emotions, important, yes. My emotional wellness, I'm able to shift my emotions. Fantastic. So that's great. It shows that you're clear. It shows that you have given it a moment and you have um, thought about it, what exactly it is. It is no more about vague answers that I want to be healthy. Now people ask, when we talk about health and fitness, what exactly are you talking about? If you have health issues already, I want to overcome them, or I want to have six-pack abs, or I want to weigh so and so kilos, right? The same way, it is a good idea to get very specific about your emotional wellness. Fantastic. I want my emotions to let me move on in life. Great. To control the emotions that are controlling me. Fantastic. There is actually a thought around it that emotions, we need to control emotions. I tend to differ a little because mindfulness says it is not the emotions that are the problem, it is how you react to them. Right? Emotions are here to tell you something. We know now that the body has innate intelligence. Your subconscious mind, which is said to be 1 million times more powerful than your conscious mind, speaks through your body, right? It is your subconscious mind that runs or that helps your body to function. So when a certain incident happens, it is your body is trying to tell you something. Have you ever had that feeling that uh, you have a gut feeling, you just know everything seems to be okay, the numbers are right, logically it is fine, but you just know something is off, right? That is your body trying to tell. And have you ever had that experience where you followed your gut feeling, you followed your instincts, and they happen to be pointing in the right direction, right? So I have had those instances many of the times, and I now know that my body has that innate intelligence, and it has that GPS system which is trying to show me in the right direction. So you see, the emotions are there for a reason. It is your body intelligence, like I said, which is trying to tell you something. So the feelings are trying to convey a message to you. Follow your feelings. Your emotions are not there for no reason at all. There is a reason for everything. So, like for example, we say that disappointment is trying to tell you that you tried something, right? That you care for something. And resentment tells you that you're living in the past and not living in the moment. Anger tells you that you're passionate about something or that your boundaries have been violated. Anxiety tells you that you need to pay attention to the now and become more aware. Right? And guilt tells you that you're trying to live your life by other people's perspective and standards. So, feelings like love, happiness, joy are telling you there is something that is going right. You're making good choices, so you must do more of it. So, emotions are your body's feedback system. So they're trying to give you the feedback, what you're doing, and the kind of choices you're making in your life and the decisions that you're making. Are they in alignment of who you are and what you want to be? Right. So, like thoughts are the language of your mind, and feelings as a language of your body. And with thoughts and feelings come together, it becomes an emotion. So, as we say, emotion is energy in motion. It is there that has come into your experience to teach you something, to make you aware of something. And once you learn this and become aware of it, then you will be able to move forward. So, okay. But having said that, emotions, I'm not saying emotions are not wrong. Sometimes they could be misleading. I'm not denying that. Sometimes why you're feeling a certain emotion, your mind might not entirely agree with it. We need to work at aligning our mind and our heart in so that we can arrive at a sensible decision, right? A dear friend of mine, Anthony, who is a pastor, once told me, Malika, lead with your heart and let your head follow, right? So the idea of emotional intelligence is exactly that. Learning from the wisdom of this emotion and aligning it perfectly with your mind and body so that you arrive at the best possible solution. So that's it. We need to have the courage to listen to the heart and intelligence to align our mind with it. So that is what emotional fitness is all about. So emotions can be your best friend or your worst enemy. If you have a healthy, open relationship with your emotions, if you acknowledge and honor them, if you use them as tools of awareness, they will do you great service. If you listen to your emotions, you can get connected to the most intimate part of yourself. High emotional intelligence can make you very resourceful, grounded, and solid. The willingness to experience your emotions will help you open to learning and wisdom that they are trying to share with you. So, this is why it is important to know the red flags, the emotional triggers that set you off in the first place. Now, for example, it actually is an understanding of how you're wired. For some, punctuality is very, very important, right? Like I'm usually not very patient when I'm hungry, or loud noises and shouting or profanity stresses me. Writing down these red flags will actually help you understand what are the emotional triggers and how to be wary of them. It is even more important in these times now to be stepping very cautiously. Learning about your emotional triggers will actually help you to build your foundation for emotional fitness on very, very strong grounds. So take a moment and try to write down, recall from your past and from your experiences, and see what are the emotional triggers, what gets to you easily. So I'll give you 40 seconds. Please write them down. Take 10. 5. Good. So I hope you all have written down the triggers, right? So let us go one step further. Sometimes we are very careful about the red flags, but we tend to forget the yellow flags, which are actually, yeah. Okay, so Ruchi has asked me, can you please give me some example for emotional trigger? Right. For me, like I mentioned earlier, shouting, yelling, do not work for me. It shuts down. I mean, I shut down when I hear the yelling and screaming. So I don't get to move forward from there. Also, there are some people who are uh, who cannot have difficult conversations. They do not like confrontation. or they like to be people pleaser. They have the fear of disappointing others. So that's why it's difficult for them to say no, right? So to understand what your triggers are is the first step to improving yourself. When someone insults me or hardly recognize my efforts, yeah, exactly. So those are the emotional triggers. It's important for us to understand that. Okay. And now I'm saying go a step further and try to see what are the yellow flags. What actually is the beginning of a red flag, right? For example, um, in my relationship with my husband, I know that he likes things in a certain way, though sometimes it does not make any sense to me. But those are the battles I choose to lose, or not worry about, because if I choose them, then I know it might get to a point of having a red flag, like a confrontation or an argument or so on and so forth, right? So whether or not to turn on the AC, I like to drop those things. So to understand what are your yellow flags is also very important, especially when in friendships and so on and so forth. There are some people, let's say I'm making friends with somebody, adult friendships, and they like shopping a lot, or they like talking about something, and I do not watch those, or I do not particularly enjoy shopping at those places. That already is a red flag, which means that I'll have to make a little more effort to get to a common ground, right? So those are my yellow flags. So it will help actually for you to write down what are your red flags and yellow flags. My greatest weakness is I give 100 chances to people despite their rude behavior. Yeah, there is a saying in that, fool me once, and yeah, fool me once, shame on you, and fool me twice, shame on me. So if somebody has if you're giving 100 chances to people, then they better be worth it. Okay, so I am going to answer all your questions, so please write them down. But we have very little time, so I'm moving forward to the next exercise so that we complete this. And after this, I'm going to take questions. All right? All right. So we have also identified the yellow flags. Now, the next point is this. How many of you have first aids at home? First aid kits at home? And with Corona, everybody has it. Very good, good, good. I'm proud of you guys. So, how many of you have an emotional first aid kit? Have you ever thought of it? Having an emotional first aid kit? Yeah? Okay. So, good. This is a good time to begin then. Um, See, when something undesirable happens, right? If somebody has fallen down and there is a cut, you immediately go to the first aid kit. It has all the tools that are required to bring you immediate relief, right? The same goes with emotional. Unfortunately, we do not even pay attention to these emotions. And when the kid is crying, we say, Rona nahi beta, don't cry, don't cry. But of course, the pain is real, the bleeding is real, and the crying is also real. So, number one, we have agreed earlier that emotional awareness is very important. We cannot brush these emotions under the carpet or suppress them, because suppression is much worse than depression. And when you suppress an emotion, they have to become that much more stronger to come back and reflect in your life so that you can pay attention, right? So the first part is awareness. Now, once you understand you're in a foul mood, you have gotten a raw deal, and you're not in a desirable space, what do you do then, right? So this is actually a time to write down 5 things that actually calm you down. It soothes you down. For example, with me, what calms me down is soothing music, or speaking to that one friend, or speaking to my mom if I'm upset, or a hug from my children, or playing with my dog. I know that they instantly calm me down. So this is actually
We can't hear you, Miss Malika. I believe we lost you. I'll just check on the reconnection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll just call and check on that. So till the time I check on her, would request you to please answer those questions that she has put across. Would request all the participants to kindly answer those. Thank you.
So I hope you have created your emotional first aid kit, right? So the next time, if you ever find yourself in a space where you feel cornered and where you're feeling low, you know you can immediately shift your emotions. Do you believe that you can consciously create an emotion? How many of you believe? Raise your hands. Do you think you can consciously create an emotion? Yes or no? Okay. Yes, yes. Fantastic. No. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So I want you all to, yes. So actually, most of them believe that you can consciously create an emotion. See, it's very simple, right? Now you're talking. Imagine, let's suppose you're having a bad time, and somebody who loves you a lot and who you enjoy spending time with, they call you and they say something really nice to you. Does it not change your emotion? Right? And if you're feeling really, really low, and if your mom or your spouse makes your favorite dinner or chocolate cake or whatever, it does not change your emotion. Or somebody just smiles at you when you're having a bad day, or somebody says kind things to you, does it not change it? So all we are trying to do here is knowing what are these triggers that make us feel good, so that whenever we are feeling a little low, we just have to reach into that emotional first aid kit and do what brings you to a state of calm. With this, I want to share with you one last daily practice that you could possibly try at home on a daily basis. And like your body, like any muscle in your body, this also needs to be strengthened through practice. And as you practice emotional fitness, that is being aware of your emotions, letting them come and go naturally, you're actually getting more connected to yourself and more in touch with your emotions. Okay, so I want you all to sit back, relax yourself with your spine straight. Let us do a small exercise. All right. Okay. Now, when you're ready, you can close your eyes, breathe in, and gently breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in pure positive energy and breathe out any stress you may be holding in your body. Breathe in and gently breathe out. You may now bring your attention to a memory that is causing you trouble, that causing you sadness. Think of that. And see where exactly you're feeling this sensation in your body. It could be tightness in your chest or in your back. It could be anywhere in your legs, abdomen. Become aware of this sensation. Where are you feeling it? Place a hand on that part of the body. Breathe in. And gently breathe out. While focusing on this area of the body, tell yourself, thank you for being here. And I understand you're trying to communicate that something is wrong. And I'm aware of it. Thank you for letting me know. Breathe in. And watch your breath move to this place of the body. Releasing the tension. As you breathe in, you're more calmer. Let the power of your mind process this emotion. There is the reason we are called human beings and not human doings. Sometimes all we need to do is stay in that place and let the emotion process, surrender to this body's intelligence, and let it do the needful. Your job is only to witness it. Let it come. Take the lesson it is trying to pass on, acknowledge it, and let it go. Feel the peace in your body. Breathe in and breathe out. When you're ready, bring your awareness back to the room and open your eyes with a big, big smile. All right. So this is a simple mindfulness technique that we use to process emotions. So whenever you find yourself in a very stressful situation, just sit with yourself for a moment and breathe in and let your body process the emotion. And once you bring silence, once you bring consciousness to this emotion, you will learn the lesson that it is trying to teach you. And once you accept that lesson, you'll actually see this negative emotion usually recedes because it is done with the job it has come for. The pain comes into your life to show you, to make you aware of something. And once you become aware of it, once you take that lesson, it usually goes back. All right. So with this, you may ask the questions now. I think we have a few minutes to take questions. Okay, there is a poll. Neeta asks, shall we trust our instincts? Because if logic seems correct, numbers looks right, theory was correct, you have done it right. But still, when you get some instinct which doesn't seem right, Neeta, that's a brilliant question. See, first of all, what is right and what is wrong, it doesn't have to depend on people's standards. It is actually up to you. What might be right for me might not be right for you. So it is a good idea whenever you have an instinct to sit down and deliberate about it. And silence is your best tool, and where this is where you get your answers. And once you know you have aligned completely with your mind, then take the action. Now that doesn't mean it is going to give you 100% results. It only means that you are in alignment with your values, with who you are. And when you have that satisfaction, then your instinct is absolutely right and you're doing the right thing for yourself. How to support a teenager if she's emotionally shattered? That's a great question, Parvati, because kids actually are going through much worse than what we adults are, I believe, because we might have seen a lot in our lifetime and we pretty much know how to manage ourselves. But these kids, this pandemic is first of its kind, and it actually restricted their freedom. They cannot be doing what they usually do, and especially teenagers. This is the time they friends become a large part of their life, and suddenly that has been cut off from them. So when a teenager gets emotional, the best part is actually being supportive at this time and understanding what they're going through, because you need to understand that it is just not about what they are socially going through. It they are going through hormonal changes as well. So it is, they are bound to be throwing tantrums and they do not know how to handle these emotions, and sometimes they might act out too. So this is actually a perfect time to be there as their friend and empathize with them more than as a parent. It is very tempting to say, oh, this is not good, don't do this. Trust me, I'm a parent and I have those temptations very often in a day. But this actually is a time for us to restrain our judgmental self and show empathy. And the best way to teach a teenager how to manage emotions is by living, by doing that for ourselves. When they see that we are able to process emotions in a healthy way, they learn from us. So kids learn from watching us more than what they hear from us. I would like to ask, sorry, 1 second. Okay, how to deal with anxiety you have when you are under work pressures. You have 4 urgent and important things you're working on. Yes, I understand now. With the professional and personal life, the lines are blurred, and people pretty much are working 24/7 is what I hear. Um, Whenever there is an anxiety, you ask yourself, what is it trying to tell you? Most often than not, anxiety is saying that you're not in the moment, you're not present in the moment. So it is very important for you to regroup all your senses and come back to this moment, and then make your list of priorities and say, what are the things that I will be able to get done, and what are the estimated timelines. And I think this actually is a good time to practice radical honesty, to be absolutely honest with yourself and with everybody else. And if there is something that you're unable to accomplish, then reach out to your peers and uh, everybody involved and set the right expectations. Okay, how to handle the emotions when it is with a particular colleague or a situation which keeps giving us negative emotional. Okay, now there are 2 ways in it. One is, see, I'll be very honest with you. There are toxic people out there. They are dealing with a lot of, it's not about right or wrong. There are toxic people, and you might not be able to get them because they must be going through something by themselves too. So it is very important for you to know what are your emotional triggers. And if somebody seems to be pushing those buttons very often, then you'll probably have to see how you can reduce your time with them or cut down those, that interaction with them. But if it is actually a partner or a colleague that you're working on a project together, then it is actually best idea to have an honest conversation with them, and express that what they're doing that isn't, that's actually intimidating you or creating those undesirable feelings in you. Especially now, because I see at least the next 2 to 3 months, the work scenario is going to be the same. Work from home is going to be the new normal. It is best to practice radical honesty than to push things away because you're not ready to have a difficult conversation. Ask how to make people understand who are adamant and are damaging themselves, and when they are close to you, affect your emotional wellness. Yeah, so the emotional charge is, especially with the intimate relationship, is going to be very high. And whether you like it or not, these are it is actually the intimate relationships that actually stress you the most. But having said that, I'll tell you, no matter how intimate they are and what kind of relationship you're holding with them, it is still their journey and it is still your journey. And it is a good idea to have an honest conversation with them, but you should be able to create that healthy boundaries. And when it comes to your peace and calm, your happiness, you need to practice a little bit of selfishness. And you need to draw the lines and know when to stop, right? Because you cannot live somebody else's life. And they're not going to live by your standards all the time. That's the truth, and accept it. How I deal with my partner who holds a negative feeling with her, rather to cherish the good memory, actually does not want to move, or rather to hold the pain. Okay, again, we are talking about the most intimate relationships. Like I mentioned earlier, um, there is a way of practicing the emotional hygiene, right? Where you understood your triggers, where you understood your yellow flags as well. And sometimes, in spite of all those things, we do catch ourselves in toxic relationships. That is the time you'll have to sit back and do spring cleaning one more time to understand that what exactly is going right or wrong in this relationship, and what are those fundamental values that both of you are important for you, and which are these fundamental needs that are not being met. So it is like a surgery. You'll have to sit down and be absolutely honest with it, and then have those mindful conversations. Sometimes we do want a lot in a relationship, but we are not very sure if we're giving that much. So before you ask anything in any relationship, it's a good idea to see that what are you giving in this relationship, how are you contributing to this relationship, and then you take a stock check. How to get rid from the fear of having corona all the time. If you're asking me this, maybe there are you're worried that you're more prone to it, and maybe you know of somebody, or you're dealing with a health condition which makes you more prone to this situation. The best thing is to educate yourself, to understand all the pros and cons, because there are a lot of information floating on the net. It doesn't necessarily have to be the truth. So the good idea is for you to pick up the right information and know your health condition, and probably reach out to a health practitioner and see what all you can do in order to keep yourself safe and grounded. And then trust the process, trust life. Um, Having said that, what has to happen will happen, and what is not meant to happen will not happen no matter what you do. So understand that principle of mindfulness, and remember, this too shall pass. There's nothing that is permanent. Everything comes and goes. Hyperactive kids having high emotions. Encourage them. They are happy souls, and don't try to suppress them. Don't tell them, don't cry, don't whatever it is. Maybe their expression is little uh, different, but that does not make it right or wrong. So this is actually a good time to teach the kids to accept and become aware of these emotions, and to learn from these emotions. As per science, there are about 36,000 emotions that we are capable of feeling, right? And in dictionary, there are about 10 to 11 words to express ourselves. And sometimes we say, I'm feeling something, I'm not able to express myself. I don't know what exactly that is. It's because we have never been encouraged to identify these emotions and express them. So every time a child goes through something, especially when we work with kids, we tell them, name the emotion. What exactly are you feeling right now? Right? Because for everything, it is not anger. Sometimes it is annoyance. Sometimes it is you're hurt. Sometimes you're upset. Not everything is angry. Right? So if you have children who are hyperactive right now, let them spend their energies in whichever way it is at home. Understand that they are going through much worse than we are, and then encourage them to embrace their emotions. How can one keep themselves positive and optimistic even in the stage where things are not really going the way those are planned? That's true. And then there are some hard truths of life where something terrible happens, like a loss, um, or uh, loss of employment, or the some accident which was not anticipated at all. The best way of doing that is to engage in your emotional fitness. Don't wait for that to happen for you to start begin there, right? It is like this. If you stay healthy, if you eat right, if you work out every day, your body is fit and fabulous, then God forbid if something comes up in future, then you're ready for it. You're more ready to tackle it. I'm not saying it is going to be 100% cakewalk, but you are much more prepared than you were. So invest in your emotional fitness. And like I said, it is like a muscle, like any muscle in your body. The more you work it, the better it is going to get. And practice, meditation are wonderful tools for you to build your emotional fitness, and dedicate at least 10 to 20 minutes every day in order for you to practice these, and you'll actually see the results. In about 21 days or less, you'll actually start seeing these results. Okay, so I think we have answered most of the questions. If you have any more questions, write to me at coachmallikarao@gmail.com. You could also reach us at hello@mallikarao.com. You can look up my website, and then I'm there on LinkedIn as well, so you can reach me out. I think LinkedIn handle is also Coach Mallika Rao. So if you have any more questions, write to me. And and I hope all of you work diligently for your emotional fitness, and you will stay calm and happy. So thank you so much for joining this session today.
Thank you, Ms. Malika, for such a wonderful session and covering significant number of questions by our participants. I'm sure all our participants have enjoyed this session and would surely implement these learnings in their lives and professional career ahead. Thanks for taking us through this beautiful learning of emotional wellness. Before we conclude with today's session, we would also want to thank all the associations for supporting HRAI event. First, Geisha IT Association. Geisha is the ICT window of Gujarat to the world and nurtures, fosters, and tracks the ICT industry of Gujarat. It is the only state-level association for electronics, software, IT, ITES, BPO, KPO, LPO, telecom ISP, networking, and IT education, which is recognized by the government of Gujarat. Federation of Gujarat Industries was founded in the year 1918. It is one of the oldest, active, socially conscious industrial associations in the country. The Federation of Gujarat Industries aimed at promoting, protecting, and projecting the interest of industries and also catering to the need of the community at large. NASSCOM COE, Gandhinagar. NASSCOM was announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in July 2015 as a part of Digital India initiative to pump start the IoT ecosystem, taking advantage of India's IT strength in the country. The Center of Excellence for IoT India at IIT Gandhinagar, Gujarat is a Digital India initiative to jumpstart the IoT ecosystem in India, taking advantage of India's IT strengths and help country attain a leadership role in the convergent area of hardware and software. Bharat Nirman. Bharat Nirman was set up in early 1980 and was registered as a charitable and public utility organization on 9th of June 1980. The main objective with which the society was set up was to revive all ancient Indian science and propagate Indian way of life, culture, and development. LMA Lucknow Management Association, was formed as a local chapter of AIMA in 1976, established of IIM at Lucknow in 1984, gave flip to LMA's endeavors in proliferation of management knowledge and taking the management movement forward. Thank you once again, dear panel members and our participants, for joining us today. And before you all leave this meeting, HRAI wants to introduce its one-of-a-kind webinar series starting on the 22nd of July 2020, the 2020 Dialogue Masterclass series on making better defensible decisions. We hereby conclude with this webinar. Thank you so much for joining. Take care, stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We hereby end this webinar. Thank you.